science and fiction together because they're using science. Anyway, hi everybody.
Yes. Hello, Stuart.
Hello.
We've got 3 icons of cinema. Oh my god, that's us. Wow. A cruise line just started advertising for our life.
Thanks, you, cruise liner.
Sorry about that, guys. What we doing today, Stuart, my man?
I don't know. You tell me. What are we doing today?
Oh my god, we are doing another ranking. This was a tremendous success before we went to our big intentional trip, because turns out there's a lot of ships, a lot more characters in the breadth that is sci-fi. So this is a continuation, but we are going to reset the board because it was a very dense board last time, and yet so many characters not done. A lot of Star Wars characters missed. Basically all Marvel, there's a few obviously, but there's a lot of Marvel, a lot of these famous people that were not included, and this is in terms of a slight inspiration. We're going to re-rank and see, and as with ever, contrast and debate, and we do get better at these. So let's see who you throw out, let's see how what we think, and who is the best characters in all sci-fi, because I felt last time we had some surprises, and that was fun to debate, especially as we got into it. It's like, oh, this character? Yeah, you know how this goes. So yeah. How do people play along with Stuart?
Well, they get to suggest who we talk about with a $5 super chat. It's that simple. And if they don't agree on our ranking, they can change it. Again, with a $5 super chat, turn them up or down tier depending on how strongly they feel about it. So
exactly. So at the end of the day, it is a community ranking. With possibly a few you might just totally disagree with, it will change.
And if they don't,
but for the most part, it is community. So throw in some interesting ones, especially from Star Wars and whatnot, of like really famous side characters. As that is to say, there might be some genuinely incredible side characters that are only in a few scenes, right?
Yeah.
I know that Ray Ricks likes to S bait, so maybe he'll be able to throw in some like, aha, this character's like, yeah, that has to be an S, etc. So yeah, I will start showing and see you in a sec.
All right. I'll tell you guys, hit that like button and join the channel if you're able to. There's a join button down there, or head on over to Patreon/Trekyards. It's another way to join us on a monthly basis. But honestly, just hitting like is a big deal. So with 11 people here, we have 8 likes. I'd like to get to 10 likes. It's 2 more. Should be super easy. Plus, it's just, you don't have to super chat for that, right? It's free. Or click the subscribe button. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel and click notification bell icon to all so you can get notified every time we do uploads or lives, because we do a lot of that kind of stuff and we love hanging out with you guys. So we want you to be a part of the community. Also, make sure that you check out the links down below. There are links to our Teespring and our TeePublic store. And one of the best ways to help us, honestly, is to super chat in with your suggestions for who you'd like to see on this list. There are quite a few that we did not talk about last time, but we are starting with a clean board this time. So even if we did cover them in the last one, again, contrast with the characters that are currently on the board will be a big deal and change things somewhat, maybe, possibly. But yes, there are a lot of sci-fi characters, many from each individual show. So this is it's fair to say more than ships. There's more characters than ships. So there's a wider pool to dip into here. So yeah.
I am back. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes. And Dan Band says the BBC announced Blake 7 Season 1 Blu-ray today.
They did. At
nice.
A pretty good price, and because they've been doing it in Doctor Who for a while, it's very successful. Same vibe, and they've even hired, as they did with some of the Doctor Who, a miniature department to make and remaster either all or most of the space shots with new miniatures. Not CG, but miniatures. Obviously enhanced by CG, where you can pulse it, but it look rather fancy, and it's very in keeping, and it'll make it much more watchable because it was a cheap TV show in this era. This will make it better, so that's awesome. Yeah, really happy to see that. I'm sure I'll get it for my dad at some point because he loves it, and I've never sat down and watched it so maybe I will this time. It's well loved, so
yeah, absolutely. I might even check that out myself. So anyway, yes,
Stuart, I want to throw something in right away.
Sure.
because we got some great in the bank that were not done last time. I want to throw in Neo from The Matrix as our first contender in the slot, because his characterization or not, how good is he really? So what are your thoughts on the chosen one himself?
Whoa. Yeah, it was probably one of the best of his first, like, I think this is the role that kind of catapulted him into superstardom. Yeah, he'd done Bill and Ted before and a few other things, but and Point Break and stuff like that. But this is the one that kind of solidified him in a lot of people's minds as like not only an action hero, but also like a pretty good actor, even though his acting in it's kind of But I mean, that's kind of the point. He comes across as the everyman, and then very quickly gets kind of thrust into this situation, and then realizes all the basically superpowers that he has. I thought Neo was great, fantastic character, through all the movies, honestly. Some people might say his acting's a little of a weird choice, but I mean, it fits the character 100%, so not really complaining about that. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on it.
Is he, that's why I brought up, is the fact that he's a blank slate kind of character, is that, you know, we've talked about in our previous one about how much screen time they have, how much depth they have. Does he fall in those categories, or is just the characterization so spot on that he's compelling? Because he's certainly flatter to the backstory and what, other than, you know, 7 seasons of a TV show character. Where would you line up, do you think, on that fence?
Yeah, because there's a duality about him because of his real life persona and then his realizing he has this power stuff. So it's he's not really as fleshed out as I guess he could be, but I mean, he's a movie character. You only get a certain amount of time in movies to do the thing.
That is worth adding to the pot, because otherwise all movie characters are like, well, you only got 90 minutes of screen time. Yes, I know, but yeah.
Plus we had like 4 Matrix movies, I think. So
and he got a lot in number 4. They did a lot with him.
Yes. Yeah. So it's, yeah, I don't know where I sit necessarily on that. I think I know where I want to place him, but
yeah. So my thoughts are, he's iconic for a reason, and sometimes the right actor fits the right role, the right script. He embodies this messiah, flat, save the world, but in a kind of a unsure way. That he's really, really perfect for that, as is Bill and Ted, right? He really nails that character. So if it's on the acting, for what he's asked to do, he's really good. And we've seen he's not the most diverse actor, but he's done some pretty different roles, so he can act differently. This is very intentional, right? So he's zoned in very well. And there's certainly some really glimmers of tremendous acting in the films. And the fact that he learns the fights, etc., whatever that gives the character. He's iconic for a reason. His look, his simpleness. My gut would be to an A, because I think for what he does, he's a gleaming star of that, is a successful character and acting choice for that role.
Yeah, I would agree. Dan Matt says, I remember The Matrix had an animated series. It wasn't a series, it was just called The Animatrix. It was a bunch of short stories in the Matrix world, which just fleshed it out. Plus there was the game as well, which had a very good story as well. So
they did, and actually filmed cutscenes for that at the same time as the second and third movie, so that you had cutscenes that actually would bring you in and out of certain scenes in the movie, which you'd then play. And because all the same sets, all the same actors, like, it was like, oh damn.
Yeah, it was kind of a cool multimedia thing that they did with that. So
very cool. And the Wachowskis have said that the online game even was canon, which is a kind of mad thing to do. And in that, spoilers, Morpheus gets killed, which is their gentle explanation is why he's not being played by Lawrence Fishburne in the 4th one, because in the canon game, there's a backstory about how the character died and his body died. That's why he's a reincarnation.
Dumb.
Well,
she just brought Lawrence Fishburne back. But anyway, for Neo, I'd probably put him as a B personally to kind of kick things off. Because there was more wiggle room with the character that they could have done, and I'm sure there's way more iconic, like recognizable. Well, you say that, but I mean, he's very recognizable and iconic.
Yeah, I think.
Okay, maybe bump him up to an A.
I think the multimedia universal recognition, the fact that everyone loves Keanu as well, I think everyone knows Neo, and also people can relate to Neo as well. It's a very every man's story, which is to its advantage, I think.
Yeah, so I think A is fair to start off things here. Down there at A.
Just wanted to throw that in.
Yeah.
Do you have one?
So guys, throw in some super chats, get some names on the board so we can look at some people. That'd be amazing.
One from the pre. I threw in a couple of different. Any from this that you'd like to throw in, discuss, chat about?
Well, yeah, one that I'm surprised we haven't had.
I know.
Darth Vader. One of the most iconic villains in all of cinematic history, and at the time was quite impressive to see that powerful, like tall David Prowse, like bodybuilder physique with that James Earl Jones really deep baritone voice, intimidating, and being basically a wizard that can use like magical force powers and choke you from across the room, and just having the sword fighting, lightsaber fighting skills. That's not really shown in the first movie, but it definitely, and a lot of people at the time were like so impressed by him that he like stood out in their memories forever. And he's iconic for a reason. There's a lot going on with this character, and again, this is one of the most fleshed out characters, I think, villain wise, in fictional history, because we learn all about Anakin, we learn about him as a kid growing up, how he came to the dark side. There's a lot there, plus all the other media, the expanded universe, the comics. There's a lot about Vader, that he's a sympathetic villain you know what I mean, like somebody that just made a few wrong choices.
Also got pushed into some as well.
Yeah, well, absolute power corrupts absolutely, and you can kind of see that a little bit with him, although it's the emperor kind of pulling the strings a bit. So yeah, I think Darth Vader is easily an S.
Well, he's one that is super unique in that he actually then gets reset. I mean, I would argue we're looking at the Darth Vader persona, not the Anakin, because even though one is defined by the other, they are so distinct that, people liked Vader for Vader before there was Anakin, right? So I would argue we're not looking at Anakin, even though that is still the backstory. It's additive, not so replacative, as it were. Yeah, no, I mean, he's how many children in the world seriously have lunchboxes or any version of Darth Vader's face in their house? It's probably going to be hundreds of millions. If you look at ever, you're probably looking at 1 billion plus, right? That's enormous. That much merch. He's one of the most iconic visuals of all of sci-fi, let alone whatever. So, pretty great. And to the character, yeah, you understand him. Even though his power level does shift a bit throughout, his underwhelming fight in New Hope. But you know what? He's also old. But then it's all brought back by his, what's it called? His Rogue One fight, which of course is only like minutes earlier or days earlier.
14 minutes, exactly.
I meant from the actual fight on the Death Star.
Yeah.
On the 14 minutes to capture them to
the beginning of the next movie.
There you go. So pretty amazing. Yeah, I mean, obviously without a doubt an S, but just this is one of the, if there was a double S, this would be one of the double S's. Where this is like transcended media, and so much so that even as a villain, you can get a bath soap dispenser of this guy and wouldn't think out of place. That's how transcendent he is in media, as both a character and a visual. So yes, double S would be my vote.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, there's 2 of our choices. Let's see some of yours. Feel free to super chat in with anybody you want to throw on this list. Darth Vader was sitting there the entire time during our first one, and nobody once mentioned him. So hopefully we've kind of sparked some imagination in you guys to pick some people, and we want to hear from you. So also be sure to hit that like button. 16 likes is good, but 20 would be better. So hit that like button.
I thought it was good guys. Why do you think it was good guys?
It's everything. It's just sci-fi characters. I don't know why you think it was just good guys.
I mean, some of the best characters are bad guys. That's kind of that's one of those sort of fundamentals.
Kind of a good guy without a good bad guy.
Ooh, maybe I should find the what's it called? Spaceballs characters. So if I add them to the list. Oh, yes, Helmet Man, crazy. Well, yeah. While people think about what they want to throw in, let me submit another choice.
Well, Little People Pets throws in $5. Emrys from the animated series.
It's technically a sci-fi character.
Yeah, we're trying to stay away from Star Trek character to do those separately, but we will definitely throw her in.
And in fairness, you are making a doubly hard decision for us, in that now we have to compare Star Trek to sci-fi. So that is so if if you want, like, how do we honestly cover people in contrast, this might be the chance for you to have your say. So yes, there she is, Stuart. I know you're a bigger fan of the anime series than I am, so thoughts?
She's easily going to get a D. Just because we don't learn much about her. It's just Nichelle Nichols doing the voice.
Oh, it was? Okay.
Furry, cat voice. Not much known about the character necessarily. The fact that she's a Cation, though, and basically a feline character is interesting. But yeah, there's not much. Anyway? There's not much there. You don't learn much about her in the animated series. You don't learn any backstory. She's just another alien on the bridge. So yeah, unfortunately, I mean, look-wise, fantastic sci-fi character look. It's interesting to see new alien species, but honestly, there's not much else going on with the character. So yeah, that's kind of my take on it.
Now, do you think there is enough interest out of what we did see? This character could then be should be brought back, say, in Stranger Worlds or other such media.
Yes.
Okay. Or is that just because they're a cat, or is there a spark that you saw? I mean, both can be true, of course. But...
absolutely nothing that the character showed that was anything except that she's a cool species. Okay. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so. Yeah. No. So yeah. Okay. Let's go with D. I think I'll agree. I've seen her in the very short treks, and she was there. And it's funny because you could actually have made her a gentle MacGuffin, in that, like, a story revolves around the character.
Oh, easily.
But hey, that's okay.
All right, which one did you want to throw in?
Lil Peel, indeed. Great suggestion. I want to throw in, because I'm interested to see how you're going to compare them, the original Adama from the original Battlestar Galactica, which I know you're a big fan of. And there was obviously more episodes, and he was a major character. So yeah, tell me about your thoughts on this guy, because I have some thoughts, but you have more.
Very noble, very father-like. He definitely cared for everyone under his command, just like the other Adama. But he was less gruff. He didn't it didn't feel like he had as much of a burden on his shoulders. But that was just the way that the storytelling was. It was kind of more of a happier kind of show than it should have been necessarily.
Happy.
But Lauren Green was a fantastic actor, and a Shakespearean actor as well. Like, he definitely had the gravitas to do more with the character. But he was very stoic. He was a very good, like, touchstone for a lot of the characters and just for the series in general. So I think he should have been fleshed out a little bit more, had more of a backstory, more of, like, something interesting going on. I think BSG did that, though, with Adama later. I think that's a much more realistic character given the circumstances. But for the time and the character that they were going for, he definitely portrayed it exactly as he should have. So I think it was a fantastic character. Pretty sure I know where to rank him, but I want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, I've seen episodes, but I don't think he was ever the center of them. So he's always it's more performance, I remember, versus the character, which also might be emblematic of he's a performance, not a character. I don't know, right? He comes across a bit vanilla in the abstract of he's a good leader, he's a strong moral compass, he's a good father, but all that in a baseline kind of way, not in, like, an exceptional way, just like he's a good guy, yes, and that's great, right? But did he struggle too much around that? Was he, this or this? a gentle plane.
There wasn't much variance in his performance. Like there was
Yes.
always kind of a straight line character.
Yeah.
He didn't really get angry at certain, like he did occasionally, but not to the extreme. Like he was very father figure, somebody that
Yeah.
you want to impress, you want to
probably a father that you'd be happy to have. Actually.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe a few more hugs though. Was he huggy? Did he hug?
I believe so.
Did they hug in the 60s?
70s. Late 70s at that, 78. So 60s is way not fair.
Thank you. So my bet would be a C because does what he does well, but he's in a very small box of what he does is what he does.
Yeah, C is exactly what I was thinking. So, yeah. And again, if you feel strongly about this, you can change it if you feel the need. But we've made our points. So if there's anything that, even just personal bias, you just really like the character, you can move them.
I'm interested if anyone puts in the Boltar from TOS, how he'd compare. Because obviously, villain, a lot more to do. Although, potentially also a one note. Or not. Or yes, maybe not.
Yeah.
Alright, Data's Gut, which is your 5th Super Chat, if we believe the YouTubes.
Which we don't anymore.
Welcome, thank you.
So $5, Dr. Okun from Independence Day movies. So crazy-haired Data.
I mean, must have been.
That always distracted me so much because all I saw was Data every time I saw this character. So,
I mean, trying hard to not
soon.
like Data though.
It's just earlier soon. That's all. I believe he was back in the second one too, but it was such. Even though I thought he died in the first one, but guess not.
Yeah,
so
like death frozen, then he got undone, and then he helped, and because like obviously by that point Brent's even bigger. And it's like, oh my god, it's just like bringing, not quite, but it's like bringing back Keaton as Batman. It's like you wouldn't think you would, but the fact that you do is really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a famous look. It's like Brent has 3 famous characters: the Night Court guy, this guy, and Data. That's a weird roll call of people to be associated with. But I did like him in this film. I think he was actually pretty good casting for this. He's good at the eccentric, and he plays it quite well. I remember liking him in the second film as well. They were like, what can we do with him? Let's do something interesting.
I don't really remember much of the second film. I need to go watch it again. It didn't make that much of an impression on me. I think I was doing other stuff. I was on my phone and stuff at the time.
Oh, right. We locked him with no internet, so I brought films.
Yeah.
It's very much more of the same, but I actually quite liked it. Although it's hilarious to see them like, how do we make it more scary? Have a bigger ship. It's like, okay. How big? The size of half the planet.
Yeah.
I'm going to give this guy a gentle C, because his performance for me is memorable. I buy him as eccentric scientist, and he stands out in a good way.
Okay. It's adequate for me. C it is.
There's a lot of variance in C as well, of course.
All right. 17 likes. Let's get those likes up to 20 if we can. We should probably start a poll.
Yes.
Well, I just don't have one in mind.
Okay. You guys put in a person, and I will invent a poll.
And yes, Dan, he was in Bonanza as well. Kind of the same character, the dad figure, but a little more action-y. So yeah, hit the like button. Think of some suggestions for people to put in. We love these off-the-wall ones that we wouldn't necessarily think of, but so yeah, mix it up a little bit for us. Let us know what you guys want to talk about, or what you want us to talk about, or what you guys want to talk about. You know the routine.
Okay, bold poll. Bold poll.
Which franchise has better characters, Star Wars or Star Trek?
I went there. Very broad question, I know.
Yes.
Speaking of broad question, shall we go again? One that was not dealt with previously, but a character actor playing a character who also plays an actor who plays a pissed off man, Dr. Lazarus, aka what's his fake name in the show?
I have no idea. It's not Jason Nesmith because that's the lead. But
it is Sir Alexander Dane playing Jason. Playing Alan Rickman playing Alexander Dane playing Dr. Lazarus. Isn't he great?
I would argue not a sci-fi character because it's literally about the actor on a show.
Well, he does karate chop some aliens.
But we never see his real performance as the character. We only see the actor's portrayal of the actor.
Well, it's like Brent Spiner's Geek. He's not a sci-fi character. He's a human who deals with science. This guy's a human who deals with science. Fiction. You know, he has to eat Lempic something or other. But yeah, I mean, you know, one in a lifetime performance, amazing voice, great makeup, not that Worfian, even though it's reminiscent. Unbelievable, of course, that the makeup artist would give him makeup to wear for several days, to do several conventions back to back, and to be fine enough to do a space adventure and not be destroyed. Hell of a makeup. But yeah, we give into that. And a film filled with amazing performances. It's hard to kind of give each one, but each one is exceptional in their own right, and he is of the more deep kind. But if you look at the main guy, whose arc is very specific in his arrogance and his self-delusion, leading to stupidity, leading to bring it back, this guy is of self-hatred, then to pride, and then back up again. So these both have some really deep character arcs, almost like start opposite ends and then reverse and find each other in the middle. Really good.
For me, he's a B because he's Alan Rickman and he brings a lot to the role. But I would have liked to have actually seen Dr. Lazarus's character portrayed.
Like one clip.
Yeah, exactly.
One clip and a look in the new title sequence.
He's the Spock Worf hybrid, but also gruff, kind of like a McCoy, at least the actor's version. So there's kind of a lot going on with his character. I just would have liked to have seen actual Dr. Lazarus stuff, so I could kind of make a better assessment. But it's Alan Rickman. He's got to be up there. It's definitely a B. He brought a lot to the character in the space of one movie. So yeah, my vote is for B.
I will accept a B because I think I understand the logic, and if I understand the logic, then I can get behind the logic. Yeah, go for a B.
Yeah,
but he's definitely memorable and epic, and we love him. And had, I mean, it's safe that it wasn't a franchise. Like it maintains the quality of the first one, but it would have been so lovely to have seen a multiple to it. Would have been very, very cool. But that's okay.
And Static Beard Chicote throws in $5. I see a pattern and I'm going with it.
Ooh.
Hector Gomez in The Night of the Comet.
Okay. Let's learn some new things.
Yeah, because I know nothing about the character or the movie, so.
It's Robert
Beltran. Oh, well, there you go.
I mean, that's an instant win, right?
Not necessarily.
There's something kind of charming about throwing us like famous actors and other things that are not their role. So there you go. So what do you think of Robert Beltran playing this character in this film that you've absolutely seen?
No idea. Can't even make an educated guess on how to speak to it, so. I like his acting. What is Night of the Comet? Let's see. Night of the Comet is a 1984 action sci-fi film written and directed by Thorm Eberhardt. It stars Catherine Mary Stewart, Robert Beltran, and Kelly Maroney as survivors of a comet that has turned most people into either dust or zombies. It grossed $14 million on a budget of $700,000, so it was a really good hit for them. And it got good reviews too. It's cool. I'm gonna have to say F because I have no idea.
Yeah. Definitionally, I think that's fair. But I mean, I'm intrigued by this. This does sound kind of cool. Is it buyable or? Yeah, there is a Blu-ray. Is it buyable? It is. Okay. Huh. Although Robert's not on the cover. Not really seen him much else. I'm intrigued what else he can do. But yes, Stuart, that's fair.
Yeah.
That is fair.
Sorry to whoever really likes the movie or the character.
But hey, shout out to Night of the Comet. It might have just made some money from me buying it, potentially.
There you go.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, the reviews are pretty solid. All the entire movie's on YouTube. Huh.
Well, Lasareth 2 says, "Oh, does anyone remember a film where they take people from the planes, time travel to save the future?" Yes, it's called Millennium. And does it star Sam? The hell's his name?
Sam Neill?
No. The old guy from Ghost Rider. The old Ghost Rider. Sam Elliott. Sam Elliott. Yeah, I think it stars Sam Elliott. Millennium is a fantastic film, honestly. Yeah, they abduct people from planes.
This does ring a bell, yeah.
And then the plane crashes, and it's all these casualties of just blank dead bodies, so nobody suspects anything. Yeah. Yes, I remember the film.
Okay, great. But yeah, sorry we have not seen that so much. But let's throw in a cult classic. We've got quite a few cult classics on this list. It's thrown a Leeloo from a Fifth Element. Mila Kunis is of her earliest roles with the bright orange.
Mila Kunis. It's
Jovovich. Yes. Hey, I was in the Mila Park. It's fine. Thoughts on Leeloo with her very distinct accent and not English for about half the film.
Ultimate Supreme Being. So she gets an S. It looks great in a bandage suit.
She does. When you talk about iconic looks, there is an iconic look right there.
Yeah. Multipass.
It's probably one of those characters where the iconness of it overdoes the actual ness of it. But performance-wise, great performance. I couldn't picture anyone else doing it. There's an energy, there's a dynamicism to the role.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very, very. Yeah, and yeah, I'd still love to have seen a second one where you develop her more, where she could have got even more speaking and more dialogue, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
No, I think she played a just born creature fantastically well, and she's the supreme being, so can't go wrong there.
No, but character-wise, I think it's still a little bit in a similar vein to Neo. A little bit flat conceptually, as in like of depth, of like deep depth. Like there's implied depth, but there's not very deep depth. Wow, what a distinction!
Yes, and yes, Lazarus too. She was in the. Wasn't she in a vampire movie? Yes, she was in the Resident Evil series of movies.
Those are zombie movies.
Well, there you go.
There ain't no vampires. And she's great in them. Some of them.
And Terrence corrects it, says zombies, not vampires, but yes.
Ain't no Twilight. I think for iconicness, I'd give her an A, but as character, I'd give her a B, honestly.
Yeah.
Where do you want to fall on that for?
I'll go with B. Hans Pritchard, she's more of a thing than a person. Oh, that's not very nice. You shouldn't say that about women.
Especially on supreme beings made from arms.
Yeah. She's not really a thing. She is a person.
Yeah, she's a sentient. She chooses to save everything, and yeah, and she has a lot of potential in the future. Now her multipass, that's a thing.
Cat Boots, $5. Gregorio Cortez from the Spy Kids series, a cult classic among kids that grew up with it.
That's a really fun pick. Well on you.
Yeah, I never watched any of them, so.
Really?
Yeah.
How did you miss Spy Kids 1? It was like a phenomenon.
Because I missed Spy Kids 1.
Fair enough. I guess I'll speak to this one then. Yeah, Spy Kids 1. It's a shockingly good movie because A, it's an absolutely star-studded cast, which helps, but they don't have a show of the kids because they really cast really good kids. It's got a tremendous humor to it that is actually sci-fi based. So a lot of the gags are their advanced technology in a goofy way, but it's not actually goofy, laugh out loud. It's sort of the universe that they inhabit. The action's pretty good. The villain is great. Again, A-list cast or B-list cast really gives it an ambiance, and then the kids do a really good job. Yeah, and he's good at it. He's the dad, who obviously in the story they are spies who have kids. They get kidnapped. Their kids now must then become spy kids to save them. But he really is just Antonio Banderas, who's a bit suave and sexy and has a moustache. But he's pretty great. I would say high C, because, again, in the role he was given, he did very good. I think most people could do a similar role, because it's Antonio giving his charm to being a dad spy, right? I think Rachel Weisz is the female actress, maybe? I think she did a slightly better job, but she had a bit more to do. And if through the villain of that film, he did a really good job, I think he'd be a slightly higher.
Yeah.
Yeah, great cast.
And Lazarus, yes, that is the movie you're thinking of. Ultraviolet. Yes, there are vampires in that. Yeah. Yeah.
Are they vampires?
I have that movie.
So do I. I like it. It's really dumb, but I like it. The CGI is wonky as all hell. And the guns, the fact that guns, like, bullets appear from her arm into the guns because they have, like, shrinking face technology. I don't know. It's dumb as hell, and it's great.
All right. 19 likes. We're almost at the 20 I asked for. So thank you guys. Keep the suggestions coming for characters, though.
Han says yes, Blade. Yeah, throw some Blade characters, and just Marvel comic characters. I'd love to talk about some comic characters. Like throw some Wesley Snipes. Throw us Deadpool, right? Like there's so many interesting characters that you can throw in. Do you have anyone on the list you'd like to throw in? With a ring into the hat and the ring.
Hold on a second. Hans picture. Of course, he's sci-fi. I hate this argument that comic book characters and stuff aren't sci-fi. Yes, Blade would definitely be sci-fi. Anything in that kind of realm, like. Anyway.
Yeah, because this is about iconic characters. Unfortunately, sci-fi includes Lord of the Rings. It's the broadest thing. Sci-fi and fantasy, so it's really broad, and certainly comic books, they have a lot of science and fiction and fantasy in them, so for this it's that broad. Now we wouldn't necessarily do like Gladiator, because that's not right?
That's not science fiction at all. No,
but it's got swords and people like hobbits.
Yeah, but that's fantasy.
But there are shared elements and it's dumb. But
well, Gladiator's actually based on just history, so it's not even fantasy.
Dad would disagree with that.
I don't care.
So just saying, yes, like Marvel is absolutely, hence the thumbnail. It'll be fun to see how does Iron Man truly compare, etc., etc.
Well, my choice is Sam Beckett. If you don't know, he's from Quantum Leap. He is the doctor that invents time travel. You can only time travel within your own lifetime. He decides to experiment on himself and spends his entire time trying to find his way back home because the recall thing wasn't working, and he just kept jumping from life to life, setting right what once went wrong. The routine.
Although it's interesting because is it strictly speaking time travel or brain time travel? Because he can't take things between times. His brain moves into people's bodies. I know it says
time travel because it says so in the opening.
Fair enough.
That's the answer.
Fair enough. Unlike all the film characters, he has like 300 episodes. Bit of an advantage there.
However, he's got amnesia for a lot of it, and he doesn't really know what his character's all about. We do learn a lot about him during the course of it, as he gets his memory back and things. But
is it amnesia?
Yeah. He doesn't remember anything about his life for like the first season or two or three. He starts remembering pieces and bits and pieces here and there, and Al helps him out. But yeah, so
I guess I've seen the middle seasons more than season 1.
Very fleshed out character. He fantastic actor to be able to take on all these varying roles week on week, and he does a fantastic job. Scott Bakula is fantastic. So Sam Beckett as a character, though, very driven, willing to experiment on himself, And there is a point where he even gets back, and Al swaps places with him, and then he jumps back in again. Wish it would have ended a little bit better, but we do learn a lot about his character and his family life and his brother and stuff like that. And very, very well written character, very realistic, and definitely adaptable to the situations as needed. But yeah, I think he's a great character.
Although interestingly, I would say he's also an everyman style character because his science-ness doesn't come to play most of the time. Most of the time, but obviously if he's going back to Victorian England, there ain't much science happening, right? So he's an amazing people person. That's his thing. Probably more than most people on this list. He can deal with every type of person and work with them and help them. But he's also a vessel just for help and niceness. And I'm guessing after a while, I mean, I think they imply he does it for like 80 or 90 years. There's some like a long time. It's a big thing in his life. At some point, are you not going to sort of lose yourself a little bit if you're always being other people? Not literally, but having to act as like 1,000 strangers. What's left of you, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I would say a B.
Yeah, I would too.
Because he's a strong character, but he's also a situation-based character, not necessarily a... Like, we didn't, as you said with Emrys and, in fact, Adama, we never saw him at his house as scientist man, which would have been great, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but the amount of screen time the character gets, and his interactions with Al and his even his own family when he jumps into his younger self, I think very much elevate him to that B slot. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
helps to have a strong performance over a long time.
Mark Lawrence, $5. Cult classic? ? How about Kevin Flynn from Tron?
There he is. Although
can't say I remember much about the character.
Oh, it's interesting because technically I picked in the Tron version because the Tron version is a Tron avatar and not playing him, so he only played himself in the film for the first little bit. Or is he the perspective character? No, Tron's the one who's the... Bruce is the one who's the... Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't he also just a tremendous everyman sort of guy? Just a nice, fun sort of gamer guy, tries to help the world and becomes a recluse after he gets stuck in Tron's second one. Well, I'm excited they're doing the third one, yes. With another band doing the vocals, etc. But yeah, what defines him apart from I must get out of here, right?
Yeah. Lazarus, though, they didn't make a remake of Quantum Leap. They made a sequel to Quantum Leap. It is actually a sequel, and no, I haven't watched any of it either yet.
I think the term is soft reboot. It's still canon,
yes,
but it's doing its own thing.
But they reference Sam Beckett in it, so it's basically
Yeah, with the idea that you can either entirely use it or entirely ignore it, and both are viable. Is kind of the...
Yeah. I haven't watched Tron in a long time, so I can't really say what the character was like necessarily in the first movie. I'll give him a C.
Yeah. Yeah, good acting, but the depth doesn't feel there. Not in a bad way either. Yeah.
Pulling on some tough ones, guys.
No, it's good, because trying to think what defines the character, you know? I like it. Interesting.
And we're all about the discussion, so we love you guys coming in and throwing stuff that we might not have thought of, which there's definitely some on the board. So
yeah, I love it.
We have 19 likes, so let's get to 20. So if you haven't hit like yet, please do so. Let's see how high we can get those likes up to. And make sure that you let us know your thoughts for characters, because we love your suggestions.
And Han says he doesn't age. You mean Tron guy or Sam Beckett? Because I don't. Both would be a bold choice. Let's throw in another he is a cult classic, but he's gone past that as well. Let's look at Doc Brown from the Back to the Future films. Thoughts?
Why don't you go first?
Okay.
I've been going first a lot. So.
I know, I like throwing it to you. Doc Brown. It always amazes me that when I was young, I thought he was old man because of the white hair. And so I find it amusing that he had to put old man makeup on to be his present day self, and he was his normal self for these scenes in the past, which is most of the film. And then the second film, he rips off his own makeup in scene because he's like, F this, I want to not have to do makeup every time. Because it's so easy old age makeup. I thought he was that old. I never thought. So the fact that he's not an old man, but he feels like an old man, but he's not. He's just a middle-aged man. Always confused me in this role. I mean, God, Icon, talk about... I mean, you pitch this as a character. No one's saying great Scott like him, right? That's entirely his energy he's bringing to it. Same with Biff, right? Like, these people made these very distinct choices in this role. They're so distinctly that. And you wouldn't have had... You could have hundreds of other Doc Browns that are not this iconic. He's wacky scientist, but not. He's father figure, but not. He's friend, but not. You know, he's a gorgeous performance in 3 very different performances as well, in 3 different films, as the story developed in its own unique way. Yeah.
Yeah. I like what you pointed out there about him being older. I always thought he was older as well. But yeah, he definitely does the mentor role, but he's the absent-minded professor, right? He's the guy that has to like have a robot thing feed his dog because he might forget, or just he likes inventing things, a little bit of both. And basically a failed inventor. He's got a lot of inventions, but nothing ever did anything good except the time travel thing. And then, again, he's still kind of a failed inventor in a way because he couldn't market that necessarily. So no, I think he plays the great Scott moments very well. Like, he forgets things or he just remembers things last minute. He's very quirky, got that kind of, not OCD, but like attention deficit disorder going on. He remembers the things he needs to remember, usually on time, but his brain's going in 15,000 directions all at once. You can tell by the performance. So he does a really good job with that. And yeah, I mean, learning that your future self designed time travel, and now you've got to work on the machine that you designed in the future. I mean, that's a hard thing to kind of wrap your head around as far as a character, I think. But yeah, I absolutely love his portrayal, and yeah, it's a character that anytime he would show up on screen, even in Million Ways to Die in the West, was fantastic. So it makes you smile every time. He's just one of those characters you want to know, you know?
He's a chef's kiss cameo.
Yeah, for sure.
And I absolutely adore what you said there. He's so different from film 1 to film 2. You're right, he's a failed inventor. He is that failed weird guy who we think was successful because he did do the time machine, but the character we know for most of the time, the first one, is not that character.
What everybody sees is just an eccentric weirdo.
Yeah. But obviously, by the second one, he then becomes Time Jesus, in that he has all the answers, he has all the tech, boom, he's got it. But obviously he's aged with. I really like that. Yeah, he's actually way more flawed than I remember. Because they're different films. You know, one is a let's make a film, then it's like a franchise. I would say he's a low to mid A.
Yeah.
So I think he's actually really 3-dimensional, considering. And the performance is kind of exceptional.
Yeah, I'm definitely happy with the A slot for that.
And I'll be
very
sad
iconic,
he's no longer around. Because he's amazing.
Absolutely. And we had a chance to see him at Vegas, which was cool. And we got to sing on opera because he asked us to, which is amazing. Yeah. That was quite a performance we put on. But anyway. Yeah, so...
Yeah, it's an amazing thing. If you'd actually asked people back in the 70s or whatever, 80s, do you think an 85-year-old is going to keep flying around the world doing conventions and signing to all the fans? You're like, well, no, but in a retirement home as a vegetable. He was 85 going around the world and doing stuff. That's tremendous, isn't it? That's just, I mean, every year he can do that. He makes thousands, if he does conventions, thousands of fans happy. like properly in your heart happy. You know, even though they're making some money from it, it's special.
Now that everybody has a different perception of what they think of him as, some is just Krug, some is just Doc Brown. You know, so yeah, yeah.
Only one S so far, guys. Suggest an S, because you can tip the scales if you think one is an S.
Yes, he is incompetent and lucky. Yes, Terrence. But also genius at the same time. So,
yes,
incompetent might be a little bit harsh.
All right. Do you have a suggestion from the batch?
Well, we'll go with Star-Lord. I mean, Peter Quill. Now, it's interesting because I really like Peter Quill's character. I appreciated his love of the old 80s music, because that's what he had on his mixtapes, and just kind of his cockiness and his brashness, and I want to be known as Star-Lord, just like I want to be known as Captain Foley, that kind of vibe. But he threw it all out the goddamn window when he fucked up the plan to get the gauntlet, the glove off of Thanos, and it really pissed me off. I don't know if he's earned it back yet, but I mean, he's still a fun character to watch. Chris Pratt does a great job with the acting, and he's you can't not like him, but at the same time, I'm just kind of annoyed by him because he made a stupid decision, and yes, it was emotional and blah blah blah, but god damn it me mad. But yeah, I like Peter Quill. Definitely fleshed out character. We even have the Christmas special where they're trying to get Kevin Bacon for him, which is great. So there's a lot of the character that we could see. It's a very tragic kind of story. Him and Mary Poppins. Can't remember his name.
What?
Just being raised by him and not being loved by him, but he felt like he wasn't at the time.
Right. Sorry. Yeah, I was thinking, what the fuck are you on about? Yes.
Ronnie Cox, whatever the character's name is.
Not Ronnie Cox.
No, it's not. He's in fucking Days of Thunder. I can't remember his name. Anyway.
Things, yeah.
So yeah, Peter Quill. There you go.
Yeah, he's. I think he'll be remembered as one of those very jokey, fun characters that takes nothing seriously, but he's had a pretty shitty life.
It's like Deadpool, but not.
Well, he's like Iron Man, but not, which is why they don't get on at all, because they're so similar.
Yeah.
Just different. Except this guy's built, has more facial hair. Definitely Chris Pratt, a role he was kind of born for, that sort of very gentle charisma. Whereas, like I said, Ryan and Deadpool is much more in-your-face, force, etc. Yeah. Is he the most three-dimensional? No. Are any Marvel characters? Maybe. You know, you could definitely do a Yondu. There you go. You could
Michael Rooker. That's the actor's name.
You could definitely do like a prequel with him as a teenager and see his life dealing with that, because he's a fully fleshed adult where those things have gone past him in the films. But yeah, good character. Not my favourite in those films, but those films are littered with good characters. He's a strong anchor, but he's not my favourite. Maybe he's a bit too one note if I was to have a critique.
I always like that he wants to be in charge, wants to be the captain, but he makes stupid decisions and definitely relies on other people to do certain things. He's kind of brash, and he's kind of like, he reminds me of Dal, actually, with his command decision choices a little bit. Dal from Prodigy. It's kind of the way that I do things as well. So I see a lot of myself in the character, but yeah. I'd probably put him at a B.
I would agree. He's too high for a C. And he's definitely not a very mid B, very respectable mid B. Oh, Dave, sorry about that.
Yeah. All right. Very late on suggestions from you guys today, which makes it less interesting, but that's okay.
We're here to have fun. If you guys want to play as a game, as it were, both in a pretty unique one, because hopefully get us some superheroes in. Let's talk about the first of the live-action Spider-Man, because they're all so different. That they're all so different. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. A lot of people's favourite Spider-Man with 3 reasonably solid films, with a third having some problems, but the problems are multiple. No, sorry, his fault. Good suit of the 3. I like the suit. Always felt too old for the role.
Yeah.
I think people say he's a better Spider-Man than Peter Parker, because each one does a different better. I think people say Andrew Garfield's a better Peter Parker than Spider-Man. He's a better Spider-Man than Peter Parker, and Tom Holland is a good both, which is good. That's why he's like done so many times. Odd actor for the role. He's not particularly charismatic, but if the role's meant to be a nerdy teenager scientist, tick, apart from the teenage part. So he's well suited, but he's not the most compelling person to watch. But you'd certainly believe him when he has the heart and soul of a hero to do the things he has to do to save people. Like, you buy that trauma and that hurt inside him, like, I must do this thing, even if the real him is not as interesting, which is why people say Spider-Man's better, because he's those scenes are pretty good. Thoughts on Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man?
He's a whiny little bitch as Peter Parker, and I can't stand the whininess. You're right. He doesn't make a good Peter Parker. He makes a really excellent Spider-Man, though, which is an interesting distinction.
Super interesting, yeah.
Yeah, I never... When these movies came out, I never liked Spider-Man. I always thought the character was just whiny and just complained way too much about everything. So I was never a huge Spider-Man fan. This made me more of a fan of Spider-Man, though. Seeing the first movie, and I got to admit, Tom Holland does a way better job. Although I really like Andrew Garfield's portrayal.
I like him as a man, which helps.
Yeah,
he vibes really well.
But yeah, Tobey Maguire is apparently quite an asshole as well in real life, so that doesn't really help. But I don't know.
This is a duality role. It's like Hulk. He is the Hulk and and they all vary as well. I would say Tom Holland is a substantially better Spider-Man, but I do think he is. I just think they retread a bit too much with this character, as in I don't need the 3 films of Mary Jane. Like, just be in a happy relationship for one of the films and deal with other problems, right? That is a new way of dealing with it. Don't keep recycling. It works if you're 17. It doesn't work if you're 26 in the same way.
Yeah.
I would say a very high C, but not quite a B. Because there are better Spider-Men, and I want to leave room for that if people wants to do the other 3 Spider-Men.
I would agree with that.
He's on the edge, because Spider-Man scenes are really good, and the performance there is good, although, yeah. So I'm intrigued to see what you guys think. I do have to pop off for a brief couple of seconds, so feel free to bring someone else in, and guys, throw in some more suggestions, but I'll be watching, so see you in a second.
Cool. Alright guys, hit the like button if you're just joining us. 20 of you watching, which is awesome. Hit the like button if you haven't hit it yet. We'd really appreciate that. Let's see, who can I bring in?
Okay, here for a second more as I wait.
Okay.
Patiently. B minus.
Bring in Mel Brooks as Schwartz.
The Schwartz.
Yogurt. Is his name. It's a parody of Yoda, obviously.
Okay, what's it?
Very stereotypical, like Mel Brooks type character. I only bring this in because Sam just recently watched Spaceballs when he was here, and it's the first time he'd seen it. So, I'm interested to get his take on the character. He said he didn't know it was Mel Brooks. I don't know how he didn't know that, but we're here anyway. So, no, I mean, there's not much iconicness to the character. It's a parody of a famous Star Wars character, and I think it's done fairly well. it's Mel Brooks. I mean, there's not much else to say. he just plays Mel Brooks doing a cameo. It'd be interesting to see if he comes back in the next film, which they're currently working on. Which I can't imagine they wouldn't bring him back, but yeah, Yogurt. Yeah, it's just the one that caught my eye and I grabbed, and I don't know, didn't have much to say about him necessarily, but I'm just interested to see where he falls on this scale. I think I know where I want to put him, but I'm going to wait till Sam gets back and says a few things, and then I will let you know my choice for that. So, is he painted gold? I haven't seen this. Yes, he is painted gold. So, but yeah. And this is just more examples of characters you guys can mention to bring in, even if it's a sci-fi parody. Yeah, Mel Brooks definitely knows how to make you laugh, 100%. And a lot of his stuff would be considered offensive today, and like things like Blazing Saddles would never be made today, which is a shame. So, what can you do? Society sucks. Society needs to grow a set of balls is what it needs to do, but whatever. That's just my take on it. So, yeah, if you guys haven't voted on the poll yet, go do so. Whoa, there's a strong lead there. Jesus. Which franchise has better characters, Star Wars or Star Trek? Go vote. 20 votes, pretty good. I'd like to maybe get 25 at the minimum, so if you haven't voted on the poll, please go do so. And yeah, be sure to hit that like button. I'd also like 25 likes. Good way to round things out. Feel free to throw in some suggestions for characters. So we have a bit of a backlog, which we can kind of keep up with your characters that you guys want to talk about or want us to talk about. And yeah. Anyway, Yogurt. I know Sam's listening, so I'm not going to say where I want to put him, but yeah. Marco, that's a take for many of us, I think. What, that society needs to grow a pair of fucking balls and not be such little pussies? Yeah, I agree. I'm in a snarky kind of mood today, so I'm just going to say it like it is. So, but anyway, like it or don't, I don't give a shit. It's one of those situations. That's my view on it. But yeah, I mean, Spaceballs is a fantastic parody movie. I love the story behind it too. They went to George Lucas. Mel Brooks went to George Lucas and can I make a parody? He's like, absolutely, but there can be no merchandising. And that's why in the movie there's so many merchandising where the real money of the movie is made. Spaceballs the toilet paper, Spaceballs the flamethrower, Spaceballs the lunchbox, Spaceballs the cereal. It's fantastic. Yogurt of the calcium. It's, the words are covered up in a stupid friggin' logo thing here. Yogurt of the calcium mines of Frigera. Ah, gotcha. French and French Saunders did a parody of the Phantom Menace in 1991. Nice. Anyway, so yeah, now's just a good opportunity because we're waiting for Sam's opinion to let us know what you guys think character-wise, what you'd like to see us talk about. And if you do have any strong thoughts about any of the characters that are on the list and they're not in the slot that you think they should be, you can move them. This is a community list. We want to engage with you guys to have that interaction so that you guys can make decisions and help us out with this. So by all means, feel free to bump anybody you'd like up the chart a little bit.
Or down if you'd want. Yeah, this one's a fun one. This one's definitely a fun one. It's definitely performance over substance. But that's the charm. I commend him. I wonder how many days he shot. Because I'd imagine off the first day of doing this much gold makeup and prosthetics, he'd be like, oh,
plus God. Walking on your knees.
Well, exactly. It's like, you might say, can I do it all in one day? No. Shit. 3 days? Shit. So
he's the director and writer and creator and producer, so I'm pretty sure he could do what he wanted to do.
Well, exactly, and therefore probably not do, I think, no more than 2 days, and if you want to make it quick. But the irony is, then he's then going to direct other scenes in this makeup probably, which would be those would be stills to have. But I think they're quite good characterization. I am kind of on the Tobey Maguire level. It feels like a C edging near a B, but still a C because of lack of screen time. But you know what? Still a pretty darn good performance for what is a dumb role. And the merchandise scene helps win me on a good performance. So that's my vote. Where were you at?
I wanted to say D, just because we don't see much of the character. We don't learn anything about him necessarily.
No, it's a good performance. It's fun, Stuart. It's fun.
Fine, we'll put him at C.
No. Yes, I just fought Spaceballs over you, Stuart. Did you ever think you'd live to see the day?
No. It's a parody. I don't know how well you can take parody characters necessarily, because they're trying to be somebody else and yet not.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one of those odd things.
Yes.
So. Oh, Yoda would be a good one to put on the list.
Hey, Yaddle, even more impressive. All the things we say about Yaddle. Any suggestions from you all? Or we can keep throwing some of our own, but we want the randomness, guys. We like the randomness. Let's go from one extreme to another. Let's go David Lister from Red Dwarf. You've seen Red Dwarf, you have? Yeah.
A long time ago, yes.
Yes.
Not all of it, though, I don't think.
Yes, Red Dwarf, one of the longest running sci-fis of all time. Started in, I believe, 87. And it's now got another series coming out next year. Because they did like 4 in a row, and then a little break, and then 2 more in a row, and then a little break, and then 1, and then a long break, and then a special, and then a little break, and then a season, then a little break, then 2 seasons. And now they're doing another movie. They did a movie, and then they're doing another miniseries, because they're evergreen characters with actors that just want to keep doing it, that look remarkably like themselves after decades, literally. Although, what's his name? Smeghead wears a toupee because you need that. Chris Barry, and he has fake dreads, but so it's the classic bum character with a lot of, as a slang, for unmotivated, not homeless, but lives like a bum, but he has got a beautifully good heart, really good guy, actually doesn't hurt people constantly in the show, will actually risk his own life to not cause hurt to someone else, which is actually kind of rare. Makes him dumb in a way, but he's too good a person. He's also smarter than he looks because he doesn't like doing things, but when he puts his mind on something, he can actually do a lot of things. He's a good pilot, he's a good tactician sometimes. He's a really interesting, fleshed out character, and we've seen him in Love, we've seen him in Lost, we've seen him in a space war, we've seen him, a broad set of stuff. Really, yeah, and he's had so many, evolved years, like I said, from like the 80s, so a 20-year-old, I think it was his first or second TV, yeah, it was his first TV role or second, whereas Chris Barry had been a known name, so he was quite nervous because it's like the difference in the experience was radical, and he stood toe to toe, and now he's this giant TV icon. Your thoughts on what you remember of Dave Lister?
Everything you just said.
Yes.
Plus, he's literally the everyman that gets thrust into a very unique situation and deals with it probably the way that a lot of us would.
Yeah.
Just trying to do what he needs to do to get by, and like you said, he's quite heroic in his own way, even though it's not heroicism, it's just being a good person, honestly.
Yes.
But I can definitely relate to a lot of his quirks and stuff that I can remember, and the way he kind of deals with Rimmer. I love his character. I love his portrayal. I think he's somebody that I can relate to. And I think that's important in a character. So, yeah, I don't remember a lot of specifics necessarily. I need to go back and rewatch Red Dwarf, apparently.
And it's so easy to binge. They're not very long. And for the most part, the first 4 years... I like the first season a lot, although it's not as strong. But, 2, 3, 4, 5 are like just constant hits and some absolutely exceptional hits. Really funny, really clever. It is still futuristic feeling, even though it's a not really... Yeah, really, really good show. The Blu-ray I got pre-ordered first chance. I'd love to see a live studio recording, because I did that for the last couple, but they're always like snapped up in like an hour, which is annoying, because obviously they're icons of literally 2 generations of TV and film. But it is still kind of everyman, and actually the lack of sci-fi in his character is part of the charm. He was a chicken superperman on a shitty mining ship. He ain't space.
He's a fish out of water. Yeah.
Yeah, even though his water is very commonplace. I would give him... for quality and depth, I actually want to say an A. Because I think he is so deep, and there's so much I've done with him. Way more than Neo, way more than Doc Brown. Even though it seems odd, I would say the depth that he brings, and the performance, the quality of the acting, and the laughs, and the comedic timing, I want to say an A.
Plus the amount of screen time as well, which kind of outshadows a lot of the other ones.
And he's played it longer than everyone as well. Which is dumb, but he has.
Yeah.
Maybe not the Tron guy. Tron guy probably beats him. I know, you gonna agree with me there?
Yeah. 100%. 100%. I don't agree with you.
That's a lie. I disagree with your agreement, therefore disagree with my disagreement. Haha!
No, I agree that sometimes I do disagree, but not very often.
Bastard.
Yep.
Yeah, and do you guys agree? Because that's a big, big, big place to put. But I do think he is very good.
Yeah. All right. Well, you guys don't feel like suggesting characters today, apparently.
Indeed not.
Can't do these lives on Thursdays, I guess, is the rule.
Yeah, people are out living their lives. I mean, which is A-okay. But we like the interaction for sure.
Aok.
Okay, let me throw another curveball. I wanted to try to give you a suggestion, like ideas of where you can go. I want to go another radical one. I want to go Scarlet Witch from Marvel. She's not one that most people would think to put in. She has had a TV show. I want to talk about Scarlet Witch for a bit. What are your thoughts on the old witch?
I don't know necessarily what I wanted to say about this. It's a character that definitely takes a turn or two. A little bit greedy and self-centered, at least in her TV series. But, I mean, almost understandably so a little bit. But oh my God. I mean, I never knew anything about the comic character, so I'm not sure how well she does portraying that necessarily. I think it's probably fairly good, considering we know Marvel does a good job with that kind of stuff. But
although of course many variants, so it's a case of literally and figuratively, like which version do you pick?
Yeah, definitely some of the best dressed moments in the Marvel Cinematic Universe are from her, so gotta give her credit for that. I don't know what to say about Wanda Maximoff.
Well, also because it's a weird one that every single director has chosen to take her different places. She's a very inconsistent character. Starting off as a Eastern European, Russian-sounding, lady who's a villain, and then becoming a helper in the X-Men, in the Avengers, and then becoming a mum character in a TV show who's very sympathetic but also a villain, and then becoming literally a villain of a movie, and you still want to sympathise with her at the end. That's this. And I know that it pisses a lot of people off that in her in the WandaVision, in the Multiverse of Madness movie, yes, they made them at the same time, give or take, but they didn't read the scripts of the episodes or watch the dailies of the WandaVision show, so the movie retreads the show while ignoring the show, while dealing with the show, which makes the movie feel a lot less interesting. I'd imagine the character thinks we just spent 10 hours doing the storyline better, and now here I'm doing it in a very flat way, even though it's meant to be the repercussions of. So not well served in. It's funny. WandaVision, phenomenal show, really love it, and the movie she's not very good in. Not her fault, right? So a hard one to go on because she's so all over the place.
I want to give her a B for effort, but a C for delivery. Again, it's hard, like you said, with different creative visions kind of telling you what to do. It's kind of hard for the actress to actually land on something and stick with it. I mean, she does a good job covering all the things they want her to do, but
They wonder her to do.
uh,
I think in WandaVision she's a low B because she's really good in that. She plays the entire thing, but most of the film she's a mid to low C. She's very much just kind of there, like, oh, powers. Oh, where do we average out? I think you've got to put her in a C then, yeah, because averagely she's directed worse than the one show, even though she has more time than the other ones. I think. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think I agree with that.
It's kind of like the some of the characters in the Matrix films, in one film are very strong and then they're weakened by other films, etc.
Yeah. All right.
Half an hour-ish left, guys, so throw in your suggestions.
I'm gonna go with Johnny Rico from Starship Troopers. Or not Johnny Rico. I thought this was Johnny Rico.
I can get John Rico as well, eh?
Yeah, well, this guy.
This
Can't
guy.
remember his name.
What's his name? His name was... Can't remember.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, very good portrayal.
Probably a bad sign.
Well, no, not really. Good portrayal of a war vet who goes on to teach and then goes back and actually sacrifices himself, kind of. I love the actor.
Razak.
Razak?
Razak.
Razak. Or Rizak, I think it is. Something like that. Anyway, yeah, I wish there should have been more of him in the movie. He kind of had a toughness, yet also I see what you guys are doing here. You can have 10 more minutes, or 5 minutes, or 2 minutes, whatever he gave them.
Make it
to do
15.
the nasty. Yeah, he's drill sergeant-y when he needs to be. As a teacher, he was pretty strict. I love that kind of vibe, like the harsh, crusty guy that you don't want to really get to know, but what? you kind of end up growing to like him because you respect him. So, yeah, I think very good character for the little screen time that he had, and brutal ending, unfortunately. But yeah, I think Michael Ironside does a fantastic job with any character he portrays. Honestly, I just wish there would have been a little bit more of him in the movie. But
now, my only question to that is going to be: is this just Michael Ironside being gruff?
Yes. I think it is.
I mean, a lot of that is that, right?
Yeah.
It's Michael Ironside kicking butt, which is fair. And I think if they didn't have his teacher scene, he'd be more one-dimensional. Seeing that,
yeah,
the choice to be gruff and then the necessity to be gruff and how it has. Oh, damn, Trekyards. I would say hi from us, but that would mean anything. But hey, enjoy. Yeah, he's. Oh, sadly died. He would have been really good to stay around and be in other films. But the fact that he's so compelling and then dies, he's such an actor and then dies, that's what helps sell. I mean, his death makes Rico the man he is, makes him rise up and look after the legacy of this guy and literally quote line for line his whatever. Yeah, definitely that teacher who is gonna make you upset, but he's gonna try and teach you the best he can in a world that isn't the best ever. And he means really well. Like, he never did anything in the film to be a dick, which he could have, because you can be a salty... Would you agree with that, or is that a bit too far?
No, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Because you can be a salty leader who has his darkness within him, but he kind of doesn't. That's kind of charming. He's still got the inner goodness, but the gruffness from war, which is what makes him really compelling. I didn't say it last time. I just an interesting revelation there. Yeah, I think on those grounds I'm going to give him a B. On those specific grounds, I think he's hits those nails for that.
A B character for such little screen time.
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, the way I just expressed that, the depth he showed, the fact they got that from performance. Yeah, maybe a mid to low B, but that's my gut. What do you think?
Well, the problem is Michael Ironside is the same character in pretty much everything he does. So, But yeah, I mean, Rico does pick up the mantle, so to speak, and you want to live forever? Like, uses the same lines. It just doesn't come across as well with Rico, honestly. But
Yeah, but that's a hard bar to go up against, right?
well, you got to do your own thing. Don't steal your mentor's catchphrase and not deliver it anywhere near with as much gravitas. Like, seriously.
Look, it was his second day. Okay, as being a leader.
Sure.
And he was still a young lad when he did the role. If he came back to do it before, he'd have a lot more gravitas, right? Because he's a lot older.
Yeah. Let's just move on to Rico then, because why not?
Yeah. Classic Rico.
He gets fleshed out a lot more in the show Roughnecks.
Yeah.
But different portrayal, obviously. But Casper Van Dien, what a fantastic name for an actor. I think the young Rico, he did really well with the kind of whining, I want to go fight, I want to go do this, kind of good defying his parents. I find he makes a good soldier, but not a good leader. At the end of the movie, I just didn't buy him as people following him into battle, unfortunately. He did not, like I said, do that Michael Ironside's gravitas to get the troops riled up. So for most of the movie, he's fine, but I think he's got to be... He can't be the general. He can't be the guy leading them into battle. He's got to be like the first, like the sergeant that's like in charge of a group of people, but still taking orders from somebody to be really believable.
So he's a Dal. He's a second in command, not a lead.
Yes, as much as he wants to be a lead, I'm sure the actor wants him to be. I just don't buy him as like a general or any kind of leadership role. I don't know if I'd follow him necessarily. Yes, they thought he was dead. He wasn't dead. He can, survives that. But I don't know if I'm making sense, because I like the character fine for the majority of the movie, but at the end I don't buy it. And if you watch Roughnecks, I think he's a good leader in that one. But that's because it's not Casper Van Dien's face attached to it, I guess.
Or voice.
He feels very young and too young and too to take up that mantle.
That's a problem that you have in any film, like the last Harry Potter film, when the same actors at the same age are forced to play themselves 15 years older. It's like, yeah, you can't act like a dad that's had this experience. It doesn't play, right?
Yeah.
Basically. So like same thing. Going from very much specifically a young jock teen guy, and in the same span of the film, same actor, same year before filmed it, then suddenly playing the war-hard veteran. Not everyone can do that. Right? I think
he can't.
Dizzy did it better, but her arc is more to get laid, and that, she completed her objective well.
Yes, and died, sadly.
But yeah, he's a good actor at this role. I'm not seeing him much else, unfortunately, but that's because he unfortunately became a cult icon.
He's in Sleepy Hollow with Johnny Depp, but he's kind of more of a side character. But yeah, I haven't seen him in much either.
Luckily, he doesn't play the knucklehead. He's a savvy guy, right? He's not a dumb jock. There is a dumb jock in the film, his friend, with the violin, which is a nice sidestep to that character. So he's not dumb, but he's also the every guy.
I think for the amount of screen time he got, and for the, like I said, me liking him for the majority of the movie, I think he's at least a B. But not for the same reasons that we just put Razak there, so I don't think he deserves an A slot.
No, he doesn't. I mean, we've really, you guys haven't thrown us in unique ones. I mean, the SNA are very genre iconic. He is military sci-fi iconic, but that's the film around him, not necessarily him in the film, right? There was a distinction there. I would say a low B.
Yeah.
But he does do what's on the tin very well.
Yeah, he's a soldier guy. And I've seen him talking about the new Starship Troopers game that's coming out, and he sounds, now that he's older, He sounds some of his lines from that like he's the general in charge, and it comes across a lot better. I've seen an interview where he's talking about Helldivers and that. So he loves this role because I think this is the only role he was known for. So he's kind of got to hitch his wagon onto this one. But
and also this is his convention appearance until he dies, always money making, and he's got lines that people love to hear, so he embraces that. He's one of the few actors that you often say like he'll milk it because he knows people love him for it, but like he'll do it and he'll appreciate it and he won't be snotty about it.
Yeah.
Kind of fun.
I love that he's getting a chance to do more with the game coming out, the Starship Troopers game. But
I mean, it's amazing how like Fast and Furious gets 19,000 films.
Yeah,
this wouldn't be a hard franchise to make more of with the same cast and build upon these ever grizzled military fun silly sat. But I mean, the first one's so satirical, it's hard. But like, it's such an interesting universe that you could easily do multiple films in. And I'd always interested in how they fight bugs. Just do it in, like, you don't need more races in car films, right? Or more heists necessarily, but you could do other fun, And the TV show was great, right? So that you can do more with the universe.
Yeah,
okay. Interesting. Let's get somebody else who is very different.
and if you guys have any suggestions, throw them in, please. We'd appreciate it.
Yeah, no one's had any thoughts for a bit now.
No, I know. Last time this was just firing off with new characters. We were having a hard time keeping up.
Fascinating. Find some interesting ones. That's a good one.
All right. We'll probably close this poll out. 26 votes. Which franchise has better characters? Well, Star Trek has 85%. Star Wars 15%. We are a Star Trek channel after all, so most people here, to be fair, are picking Star Trek. So, all right, interesting.
The Schwartz of the bias is strong with them, and that's a-okay.
Yes, use the Schwartz.
Okay, so I want to throw in two famous female leads, because a lot of these are of the male kind. Wonder Woman, especially this version, Gal Gadot or Gal Gadot.
All right.
And this specific version, because also there's multiple in multiple different formats.
Yes. So just Gal Gadot portraying Wonder Woman in the movies. Which gets really kind of weird when she gets into the 1984 and she's using some random dude to be Steve. And basically using his body. I don't know. I find her portrayal of Wonder Woman fantastic. Diana Prince, a good 90, well, maybe 85% of the time is very well done, I think. Very stylish, intelligent woman. But yeah, there gets some creepiness going on in the 1984 one. And I think that was just bad writing choices. She did the best with what she had, I think. But it kind of made her look like an idiot because she was so dependent on this guy, dependent on him for happiness and everything, that she kind of became the damsel in distress almost, needing a man to do her thing. At the end, of course, she lets it all go and kind of gets back on track, but I just think it lets the character down somewhat. That being said, Gal Gadot, I think, does a fantastic job with the character and actually making a good cinematic Wonder Woman. I think she did wonderfully. She's attractive, she's smart, she's all the things you'd want out of a Wonder Woman. Yeah, that's kind of what I got right now. So
yeah, it's a very specific character in that a lot of it is her accent and her unique mannerisms as an actress, adding to this, like, kind of ethereal vibe. What is Wonder Woman if just a strong lady who is a bit socially awkward, right?
Yeah.
And then Diana is that, but you replace socially awkward for somehow with rich and famous and socialite, even though Wonder Woman is awkward with people. It's odd that she can be both at the same time. I guess so is Clark Kent and Superman, I guess. Just the reverse. But she's not, like, it's almost the stories around her that are really interesting or not. The character is not that interesting. Kind of like Steve Rogers, right? He's not that interesting unless you really do a deep dive character study, which, of course, Captain America 2 is, to a certain extent, so he's more interesting in it. So she's not the most interesting character in the world, but performance is good, but performance is just a, do I believe she's a strong lady? Although it's funny, she's muscly-ish, but she's you know, superhero strong, not muscle strong. Whereas Arnie, he's like, I buy he's strong because he's tall and big and broad and muscles. As Diana, yeah, I don't even think of her as Diana ever, really, in the films. I always think of her as Wonder Woman in disguise, which is odd because she's not. She's Diana in disguise as a person called Wonder Woman. She's always Diana, but this suit is not Diana. The suit is Wonder Woman, right? That's interesting. I didn't, yeah. And the less said about the second film, the better, because it's just a poorly thought film. And it's amazing how a film, you can ruin your career with a film, and that Patty Jenkins had a Star Wars film ready to go, and then this bombed so hard she lost that.
Really?
I mean, it was, Rogue One, it was going to be about the they made a trailer with CG and everything as a teaser, and like this bombed so horribly, and it's because it was, the first one she did stuff, and the second one she did whatever she wanted, and she made so many bad choices in the second film. Yeah. She's okay. As a character. Performance good. Character. It's kind of like Neo in that regard. The character's sort of some flat, but the performance is good. But I wouldn't go higher than a B for her, personally. I think she's not that interesting overall.
Yeah, I think B is perfectly fair.
And that's still, variable, right? Different films, different performances.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay, interesting.
Well, Mark throws in 20 with 4 choices, so thank you, Mark.
Playing the game, I like it.
Huey Campbell in The Boys. Captain Angela Alley in Space Force. Casey in Loki.
Okay.
Couldn't complete the quadfecta here, so Quinn Mallory in Sliders.
Okay. Diverse choices. Have you seen The Boys?
I've only seen like half of season 1.
I've been meaning to see it. I got the Blu-rays for Christmas. I've not seen it yet. So we all thought of this character, without spoilers, unless you need spoilers, and I can unheadphone.
You can unheadphone then for a minute.
Go!
Don't know much about the character necessarily. Like I said, I only watched I might have got through season 1. For some reason, I just stopped watching it and didn't get back to it, which I really don't know why, because I do want to watch it. But yeah, horrific introduction with his girlfriend getting splattered, and how he deals with it. It's very realistic. It's very everyman, like I've said before. So I can kind of relate. But goddamn, I haven't seen enough of the show to really make a good judgment call. But I know Jack Quaid. Jack Quaid's a really great actor, so I'm sure and people seem to love the character. So, yeah, I'm not quite sure what to say about this because I haven't watched The Boys and there's Sam. So, we'll take your recommendations for where to put them. Put some in the chat right now. So, let's let me come back. Yeah.
So where did you give him, Stuart?
From what I saw, a B.
Cool. Okay.
But I know Jack Quaid's great, and people seem to love the character in the show, so I don't know if that's a good, fair assessment. But B's, I think, a safe one.
Mm-hmm. Hey, B is strong for sci-fi legends. I mean, that's that beats Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, right? Which is a far more iconic character and performance and actor. So, cool. Yeah, I look forward to seeing it. Although I hear the last season of Boys wasn't very good, which is disappointing. But hey ho.
Oh. Well, there you go.
So, yeah.
All right. Next up is Captain Angela Alley in Space Force.
And Mark is a funny, funny man.
Is that Mariner?
That is Mariner.
Okay.
He's a funny, funny man. He's a clever, clever man. I've only seen her in clips, but I quite like her from clips. Although, boy, I like her with longer hair more in real life. She's not plain looking with this hair, but she really suits the big, bold hair.
I don't know anything to say because I've never really watched it. So
My dad watched it and loved it.
Mm.
And it seemed like a great, silly, dumb idea, and I was happy to see her in it. I think she's more of a hard ass in it, I think. Military does do that. Give her a C, because I'm pretty sure she's well liked in the show.
Yeah, C is another safe bet, I think.
Another safe bet. But yeah, we are in our final 20 minutes. We'd love to get another, let's say, 4 suggestions. Would be great. Any more would be appreciated.
Casey and Loki, which is just Rutherford. He's great in that, actually.
He's really good in that, actually.
I think he does a really good job. Yeah. Very likable character. So.
Yeah, I mean, a very positive, strong C, because he's actually a really... Every scene he's in is fun. I mean, really, he's famous for the Tesseract scene. But what a great scene to have. This guy who we know as, some random engineer. He's getting a really life-changing scene with the Loki actor. That's like, shit. And he holds his own. It's a really good scene. I don't remember him being much in season 2, but why would he be, right?
Yeah.
No, really.
I remember seeing him and going, "Oh my god, that's Rutherford! That's awesome!" And he's kind of got the same kind of vibe as Rutherford, so yeah.
He's got a different sort of innocence, which is interesting to do both, because he's, of course we're god beings.
Yeah.
Like, shit, okay. Fun times. Yeah, very respectful, like a genuine C.
And to close it out, Commander Ransom, Jerry O'Connell, has Quinn Mallory in Sliders. Now, I gotta be fair, I haven't watched much of Sliders. I watched it back in the day, of the odd episode here and there, but never really got a sense for the character arc. It's one that I definitely need to check out at some point.
If you ask people who don't know anything questions, I don't know why I think this, but I think they meandered with his arc, if I recall reading somewhere something. So wherever the plan they had, it kind of went by the wayside. But I remember liking him. I've seen a couple of episodes. I think he's pretty watchable. That sort of almost like a Jack O'Neill, light-hearted, fun, jokey kind of guy.
Yeah.
With obviously long hair. I mean, very respectable C. Like, I don't remember him. Obviously, don't know him enough to give any higher really. But yeah, I think he was well liked for the role. And it's a show I do want to go back and rewatch. But there's too many shows and too little time.
Yes, this is the problem.
It's definitely a problem.
All right, so C it is.
You clever man to very clever.
And classic for real, $5. I know these are technically 2 characters, but Starfleet's very own Captain Stuart Foley and Commander Samuel Calkins, not the YouTube imposters. Well, let's pull in Captain Foley here. Knowing what I know about Captain Foley,
just a lot more than before the trip.
Yes,
actually,
we have filmed four different things with him.
3 canon.
He's I don't know. What do you talk about him first, because it's kind of weird for me to do it.
It's funny when you play him and it's not you and the distinction is formed. It's like, but I'm not that. But yeah, it's a funny feeling. I've done it a few times. Yeah, he is by the book. He is intellectual. He is smart. He will tell you if he thinks he got it right and you didn't. But he's a strong leader. He's well liked. He might be the sharpest tool, but in the shed, not tool. But he's the sort that knows he's a crew for a reason. And no one in Starfleet is an every skilled person, because that would be kind of silly. You're all specialists for a reason. Even if they're broad specialties, they're still specialties. So he knows who to rely on to make the mission work. Unlike Burnham, who will be everything and leave the crew bored. Yeah, good strong character, but also classically TOS. So, your thoughts.
He's got the TOS mindset for sure. He's a captain that won't send a crew member to do anything he wouldn't be willing to do himself, but does defer to their expertise in many situations, because he's the decision maker. He's not necessarily the man of action, I would say.
Yeah,
Although occasionally he does step into that role. So, yeah, I like just TOS captain. That's kind of the vibe you get from him. Kind of has to make decisions on his own sometimes. He doesn't have the resources to talk to Starfleet and talk to the admirals and find out what to do. And yeah, he likes to let his crew know that he might not necessarily agree with them, but he is going to use their suggestions because that's what they're there for.
But it is his way or the highway, though.
Oh yeah, it's a captain. It's going to be that way.
He's strong-willed in that regard. But of course, we can't be self-serving too high, nor have people. And also, yeah, you want an iconic TOS captain, and those by definition aren't that broad. You know.
And once you guys see the shorts, you might be able to make up your own minds. But I think a B is probably, from the little amount of things I know about him.
I was going to say a C based on lack of ego, but
okay, we'll see. It is.
Just because, yeah, this feels a bit strange. But hey, we have a real picture of real Captain Foley, not a Stewart. There are now pictures of this. This has now happened, right?
He's even got the Delta.
How crazy is that?
It's crazy.
Ain't no fakery. Apart from the fact that it's obviously on a green screen. Apart from that, there's no fakery. It's real, Stuart. It's real.
Yeah. And next up is Commander Cockings, which we know nothing about because there is no Commander Cockings in.
Yep. It literally there is no character that isn't YouTube Commander Cockings. Yeah, because it's not a good name, so I wouldn't want to be that name in the Trek shorts. So yeah, a non-character Stuart, so he could be F because he's a nobody. Doesn't exist.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I was going to say D just because, but, you know, if you want to go F.
He has zero screen time.
So is Captain Foley as of right now.
Well, no. You filmed screen. No. He is. He's in 2 pieces as audio.
In audio only.
He is still the central momentum of that screen time.
Sure. Yeah. Classic for real, $5. The character Christopher Kane, played by actor Jack Farrow.
This is entirely a mystery to me, so I'm excited.
Yes. And Simon Graves says it's the end of the month. Not everyone can splurge on super chats. That's fair. Absolutely fair. It's also the end of the month, so some YouTubers need super chats.
Yep.
Also fair.
Those that didn't work for 17 or 18 days in a month. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm intrigued.
What the fuck?
That is what the Google says. So, Stuart, what are your thoughts on this puppet and his performance as puppet?
It doesn't look sci-fi at all, so I'm going to give it an F.
I mean, but look at the background. There's an alien spaceship there somewhere.
Sure, D.
Okay, what is this? This is from Victorious, the show with Ariana Grande, voices Ariana Grande. It's the fictional alter ego of Rex, who hosts the episode Bloptorious. Kane's a British accent. Oh, hello, British accent interviews the main cast members. Okay. I do like his. It sounds silly, but I like the design of the puppet and the riz he seems to have with the booze. Goodness.
Ryan says F tier. That's a puppet from Victorious.
Yes. Grievous. Sam just fucked himself.
So isn't there where is it? What about the Commander Cochrane fellow? Yeah, you should have named your character Cochrane.
That'd be hella famous then.
No, doesn't have to be related to Zephyr at all. Don't do that. You make everybody related to somebody, and you shouldn't do that.
Oh no, that's why I don't pick famous names if I don't have to. Because every person in the audience.
That'd be the funny thing about the character. Are you related? No, I'm not.
And yes, that is funny, but I would always hear that, and yeah, only 3 people are related out of like 8.
Yeah, but
4 of 8.
Just because they have the name, they should have somebody that has the name that's not related to the actual person.
I mean, Reed is only the great uncle. Doesn't give a shit. You know,
Perfect.
Who's your uncle that way by 3 people? It's like, some guy. Just because he's famous. Okay.
Oh, there we go.
Yes, give the puppet the hard D or the hard F.
I'll throw it in D.
Okay. Alright, final 9 minutes, guys. Any other things or bobs? Some pretty different ones today.
Mm-hmm.
And many things we threw in. Basically.
All right, well, let's use the last one you threw in. It's going to be the last one. Unless somebody super chats.
Ah, yes.
Harley Quinn. Okay.
This specific version. Because there are many, and there are many good versions.
So she was a psychiatrist that got broken by the Joker, which I don't like that to begin with. I think that's just stupid. She became fixated on him and is basically just his lackey, but also psychotic. That's what there is about the character. She's just... Is she tough? I mean, she acts tough, but emotionally I don't think she's very tough at all. Yeah, I don't know. What do you have to say about her?
It's always funny to watch people with no intrinsic ability be in big, giant, cosmic battles. She has a bat.
Yeah, I know. And
She did. I mean, so is Joker, of course, but he has an intellect that she doesn't have. Not in a mean way, just she doesn't. She's not that. She's not dumb, of course, but she's not that smart. I mean, I love Margot Robbie. She's really good, actually. And she's very diverse as an actress, so she elevates this role super, super well. But that's her giving this portrayal a lot of stuff, and she's damn good in Suicide Squad, the second one, not the first one, which I believe this is still from. I mean, she's an entirely broken person. Now, you could argue she was found herself by breaking herself to become fixed to be Joker Love Lackey, but she's a broken psychology person who is all these psychoses for whatever. But the performance is very good. What's it trying to do? Chaos. You know, right? And I know that the animated series one is a well-developed character, does a lot with it, and there are other versions that are much more interesting and do much more like some of the video game versions, where the characters, they have obviously, maybe 10 hours to play. I don't know. What are you vibing?
I want to say C.
Yes.
Yeah.
As an actress should be higher.
Yes. All right, Gastro, 1980, $5. E.T. from E.T.
An interesting choice.
Well, it's clearly an S tier. Very alien look, very alien design and acting, and it's great. It's an S.
Right. What's the character of E.T.?
An alien that's missing home and wants to get back home. Was left stranded on a planet that has to befriend some kids.
And his finger glows.
Ouch.
And it's kind of like Yoda in the sense of the portrayal, like it's a puppet, right? You do a lot with a puppet though, so the fact that it comes across so characterful, although hard to think how these guys would live on a planet and survive and not be eaten by animals because they are small, slow-moving, and brittle.
Intelligent enough to make space travel.
That too, though, but also not to have clothes. So
that's a choice. I mean,
sure.
How do we survive on our planet without getting eaten by all the predators? We build houses.
Yeah, but we could move more than that. I mean, any animal going "Rah!" would win. So it's a. But it's kind of like the alien from Alien, right? It's
Try running from a tiger and tell me that again. You would die, sir. Your argument holds no water.
Okay, fine. There are no good predators on their planet, and they built, or their finger is like a laser ray beam. Sure, give it an S. I would have given it a B because the character's thin to none, but adorable. But yes, icon value will. Although it's funny that compressed picture looks like an ant from Ants.
Yeah,
that's kind of cool.
All right, classic for real, $5. Lubert, played by Jeremy Rowley.
Yep, icon of cinema.
I have no idea.
Icon of cinema.
What's happening right now? So talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, he's a man with a mission. He has I think 3 ex-wives. He has a penchant for cars and alcohol, specifically some form of tequila. He likes to long walks on the beach, and he's a real strong fellow. That was the most generic I could possibly talk about this character.
I don't even know what it is from. So.
No, I think it's the same thing that the puppet is from iCarly. Lobert from iCarly. Who is Lawbert? Lawbert Slint. No, I'm an adult. Is an unpleasant.
Why is iCarly on this list?
Don't know. Is an unpleasant former doorman of Bushwick Plaza, Carly, Freddie, and Spencer's apartment building. He appeared several times during the original series, and his first appearance in the rival series. He's a lawyer.
Because why is this sci-fi? Why is this here?
I don't know.
So it's an F. So
let's
move on.
I mean, in fairness, people want to fill up the F slot, which is fair.
That's for $5. Jesse Prescott, played by actress Debbie Ryan. Sure, very very pretty, but an F.
She's also from iCarly.
I know.
Pretty lady, yes. I mean, do you want to put her in D? Do you want to give her the D treatment?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. Solaris, the long haul, or whatever. $2. What about the main ship from Farscape, Maya?
Moya. That's a really interesting shout. It is a character, and it is an alien, and it is a creature.
But it's only a $2 super chat.
Oh.
We could end with that one. Let's end with that one.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll end with that one.
I mean, it's almost as much as the character as ET is. He has more screen time. Because every single time they're on Moya, it's screen time. I wouldn't say it's more lines of dialogue. ET does say phone home, but it has more time of going and people understand it. So technically, yes. Yeah, I mean, you feel sympathy for... it is a space whale. You do feel sad when it's hurt. You do, Yeah, I mean, it's actually an interesting shout, I would say. I mean, still in the D category, because the depth is still limited, but certainly it is a very interesting pick. I would say Talon, the kid, would be much higher, because a lot more, obviously talking through Crace, but like a lot, I would say Talon's easily a C, because it's shocking to give a ship that much character and self propels a story himself and be a ship without is impressive. Yeah, that's a really interesting. Yeah, really interesting. Oh, we're one more person away from our goal, Stuart. Oh, we just got
Julius.
There we go.
What about the hologram from Andromeda? Okay, last one. Oh my god.
Oh, beautiful. Hey guys, thank you for we got us to our base goal. Ronnie from Andromeda. Thanks for jumping in right near the end. Every super chat helps us tremendously. Lexa Doig. When she was young and in a red, awesome leather thing. 1 second.
Hit that like button if you haven't. We have 30 people here and 28 likes. Let's get to 30 likes if possible.
Oh, Stuart, that should take 1 second, shouldn't it? Everyone that's here, click like.
Yes.
Yeah, Andromeda for Andromeda.
B.
And it's different to Romy. They are different characters, even though they're the same face. They do act differently. Yeah, actually, she's a pretty good character. Very much like Moya. Good shout on that. Not literally, but there is a slight in love vibe with Dylan Hunt. As a ship loves its captain, there is a real appreciation and admiration that goes a bit deeper than just "Hey, yes, boss," and it comes across, but not in a weird way. Even though, so it's actually quite sweet, and the loyalty, it feels genuine, even though it's an AI. And that's the performance, right? Yeah, I'll go the lowest B possible, but there's a lot of screen time. I mean, Romy would be higher, so they'd probably both still be a B. But yeah, there's a lot more to that character than meets the eye. Yeah, that's a.
She's a transformer. What? Classic for real, $2. Replace pick of Jeremy Rowley with Lubert from iCarly.
Okay.
Your super chat speaks otherwise, you say, but it's a $5 super chat for those kind of changes. But we will do it because we're at the end.
This is the end of the journey. Whatever the words are for that song. He has a mole, I guess, as his character. I guess. Is iCarly that good a show, guys? You know, all the big iCarly fans of the audience. Let us know. Let us know, guys. Is it a show we should review on Trekyards?
No, is the answer.
There should be a tier on Patreon for $1,000 a month. We'll review iCarly every week.
No. We will accept your money and say we're going to do it and then not. That's what will happen.
Dan, yes. She's in it plenty, though. She makes a good impression. That's a doig. Cool. All right. Thank you guys. That's past our goal. Appreciate it. We've a lot still in the board. I love how all these are new. So there's still. Oh, Olivia, coming in for a win move. That is awesome.
All right, moved. There you go.
Beautiful.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching.
Yes, indeed.
Have yourselves a fantastic evening, and we'll see you guys soon. Don't worry.
Maybe tomorrow.
Maybe tomorrow. So yeah, thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching. And still, no Iron Man, no Henry Cavill, and no Obi-Wan. They were right there the whole time.
I know. I know.
Until then, he's Captain Foley.
He's Commander Cockins.
Bye, guys.
Bye, buddy.